This is a Headgum original.
In 1977, NASA sent 2 solid gold records into space so that aliens might find them and understand life on Earth.
I send greetings on behalf of the people of our planet and friendly wishes to all who may encounter this Voyager.
Now, we're making new records with our friends.
We step out of our solar system into the universe, seeking only peace and friendship. We know full well that our planet and all its inhabitants are but a small part of this immense universe that surrounds us.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
No, when a guy's broke, he fucks better. Guys with money got other stuff going on. Well. Shelby?
Caleb.
I was just saying before we started recording.
That when someone's broke, they
people
fuck
who are
better.
broke fuck better.
Right.
You get a little bit of money, all of a sudden.
You're a little lazier.
You're a little lazier because it's like, oh, I could, I could always get on the phone with my accountant or something.
And that would be more enjoyable.
You got other
than
stuff
sex.
to do. Oh, yeah, I could go, I'm going to go make more money. When you're broke, you're fucking like your life depends on it. It might be the only good thing that happens to you in a week.
Well, it's like money. Money can't buy it's like money can kind of buy you happiness. And when you're broke, it's like, I can't buy happiness. I have to fuck for happiness.
When you have to get up and go to work tomorrow, you fuck different. That's
because
you're like this. This
is all I have.
This has got to feel good.
This is all
Because I'm clocking in tomorrow. Yeah. But when you got a little, I could quit my job if I really had to money. All of a sudden, it's like
When you have that little
je ne sais quoi. That little je ne sais quoi.
Isn't that just like I don't know what? Isn't that what that means?
That comment se dice?
Je ne sais quoi.
I don't know what it means. Is it like chutzpah?
No, I think je ne sais quoi is I don't know what. Genuinely.
Oh, okay. Genuinely, it translates to I don't know what.
Correct.
Nice.
Ding, ding, ding. Are you smarter than a fifth grader? You're back with are you smarter than a fifth grader?
What does je ne sais quoi translate to literally? Is it chutzpah?
Is it como se dice?
Is it I don't know what? It's I don't know what.
Ding, ding, ding. It's I don't know what.
You've won a 2011 Ford Taurus.
This thing runs bad, but at the end of the day, it's better than not having a car.
This thing does not run well, and it is not good to look at. But boy, oh boy, is it a car.
There's a lot of things about this thing, but the one thing that's true is it's a car. If a car can't drive, do you still call it a car?
Well, if a tree falls in the wood and no one's there to hear it, does it still make a noise?
I mean,
and also to that same extent, how much wood
could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? If Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers,
right?
How many pickled peppers did Peter Piper pick?
You actually
did that wrong.
You actually did kind of body that. I will say, you actually did kind of body that.
Okay.
Red leather, yellow leather, red leather, yellow leather.
Unique New York.
Unique New York. What do you think is your biggest flaw?
Personality.
Have I ever told you? I'm sure I have. About the guy who told me that on a dating app that I'm probably a 6 at personality counts.
You have told me that, but I forgot.
And it haunts me because I messaged him back and said,
was I higher in the
was
personality?
Was I a 10 and the personality brought me down, or was I a 0 and the personality brought me up? And he didn't message. He never messaged me back.
That is cool. That he should be arrested for.
I'm telling you, this
murder.
Was years ago, and I think of it multiple times a week. This is something that haunts me. It haunts me.
It should haunt you. That's haunting.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm really excited about our guests today.
I am too. I see them.
They just walked in. They brought their kid.
It really is crazy what presents they have.
They have great presents, especially when they walk through a door with a window by it and we can see them. And they brought their child with them.
And I don't think the child will be on, but know that if it was up to me,
the child would make an appearance.
Child would tell us what's on the records for sure.
Make some noise, listeners at home. Put your paws, fins, and flippers together for our friends and yours soon-to-be friends.
Very talented, very funny.
Natasha Leggero.
And Moshe Kasher.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Let's get them in here. Let's see if we can get an episode.
It'll be really nice to see them and talk to them. And you're gonna
I love someone on the YouTube, and you can leave this in. Someone on the YouTube commented that Muna could have been one episode.
I know. And it's like, yeah, it could have, but it would have been 2 hours, babe.
Could have. That would be long, babe.
Dude, I got the DJ console.
I saw.
Yeah.
I saw the board.
And I'm loving
Caleb,
life.
it is so annoying.
I saw that you're implicating your daughter in the...
He is.
that was your
I'll be
gift.
doing dishes and it's pumping. Pumping bass. You got like the best speaker ever. Like we didn't used to have good speakers in the house when I would just put on Sonos, but now like he's got them like it's like thudding through the house and it's a lot.
You're doing like EDM.
Yeah.
It's not even EDM though. It's like 90s
so
techno.
proud.
You know what he's into? He's into like obscure 90s techno.
No, it's brand new techno, and it is obscure because I don't do anything.
It's brand new techno because I'm making it new now.
No, I'm getting. You don't want to get into this, but are we going? Is this
Are we rolling?
podcast happening?
I can't
great.
get down
We'll
with
use
it.
this.
What do you
Yeah.
guys
We need
think
to-
of techno?
Here's what I'll tell you. You know what? I recently had to confront my feelings about techno because I was looking for places in LA that are open past 2 a.m. I was like, if I want to stay out until...
I love that. Like the other night, the last time you invited us out,
No,
you were like
yes, yeah.
meeting at 11 or midnight. I'm like, what? No,
remember this?
never.
We Shelby and I would come out with us, and you guys were like, ooh, what time? Maybe like 7 or 8. We're like, we're going to meet up at 10:30.
We like to go dancing at 7 or 8.
No, it
And
was not
honestly,
I was going
10:30.
dancing with
It
seven.
was
Well, that's when
11.
the floor's open.
No,
There's no one else there.
Parenting hasn't changed us at all. We like to get to a pumping nightclub at about 7 p.m. and we wrap things up by about 8:15.
And it is bumping at 7, by the way.
Yeah, we
People
go
It's
get-
are out.
bumping at 7.
We go get soup at like a Caro's, and then it's time for bed.
I was looking, and you, Moshe, might like this. The only places I could find that were open past 2 a.m.
are really...
like EDM, like literal, like nightclubs.
Do they
I was
do
like,
the one
how
that's
did I do
like the singing? You know, like when you're at the W Hotel and it's like there's a DJ having like a party.
No, I didn't see any of those.
She negs me so hard. It's crazy. The other day I go, I think I might, because I got this new DJ console. But I used to DJ when I was a young person, and I took like 20 years off, and then I got it again, and I was like playing around. I was like, oh my god, I think I'm maybe good at this. And I told Natasha, I think I might be talented still. And she goes, I believe strongly in the Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours theory, and I just think it's a little childish of you to try to dedicate that kind of time to some. What you were?
I was just trying to help you.
No.
Well, you like, because Moshe wants me to watch him DJ. Like,
No.
he's legitimately serious
at
about
home,
it.
like by yourself.
So I wasn't sure, like, and he's kind of good. Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
But he's a little good, so I'm like, maybe he is taking this seriously. So I just wanted to make sure.
Right, if he was so bad, you'd support it because it's like, this isn't going
Exactly.
anywhere. You're good
It's
enough
cute.
that she's afraid it could go somewhere, and that will change your life like significantly.
No, look,
You have kids.
I have kid.
I have kids.
I have kid. She seems really into it. She's actually much more
That wasn't
supportive.
2 people?
No, she's much more supportive of my DJing career, and I would call it a career at this point.
Yeah.
Than Natasha is for sure. I mean, there's no question that Natasha is jealous of the fact that I finally found something that I love.
I'll be like, honey, where's daddy? She's like, he's upstairs DJing.
The only reason
I guess to
Daddy
me,
can't-
I didn't
Daddy can't do a
realize,
good
and
night
this is
story.
maybe me being naive about the DJ culture, but I didn't realize that you did that at home alone. I thought you only did that at gigs.
that's what the movie Home Alone
At,
is
like, at
literally
clubs?
about.
Yeah, I was like, when you're DJing, you have to be with people.
I think
never
that's
thought you were
true,
like in the
though.
attic being like,
What did you
Yeah,
think?
you're right. Well, like, what's the difference, Moshe?
Between what?
Between what we're talking about, like, you're the like, Diplo's not just at home DJing.
Do you think that Van Halen only played when he got to the Shoreline
to me, that's
Amphitheater?
different.
Oh my God.
What? Just like, what are you talking about? You practice.
Natasha, what you're failing to understand is Moshe's the Van Halen of DJ.
Thank you. Somebody finally said it, and I realized that the other day. Now, Natasha said to me, I don't really understand what DJing is. It sounds like that ignorance reigns supreme on this podcast.
Having the aux cord.
And she,
Yeah, to me.
Just having the aux cord.
So Natasha says, I don't really understand what you're even doing. So I said, why do you come up and watch? I'm not like downstairs while she's trying to do something she cares about, going like, honey,
the dishes
would you mind
or laundry.
coming up? Would you mind
DJ the
coming up?
dishes could be fun.
It's very
DJing
similar.
the dishes.
It's a similar vibe because they're circular, you know, and you got to do some
now you're doing
scrubbing.
dishes together. There's a vibe in the kitchen.
That's right.
I told you were good at scratching today. What more do you want?
It was music to my ears. It was electronic music to my ears.
Natasha's jealousy of Moshe does come out a lot.
It's crazy.
I have to
The
say,
DJ conversation comes up.
honestly, I'm jealous that he has hobbies. He has like so many hobbies. He's
Yeah.
like
You.
really into surfing because I feel like all my time is dedicated to parenting or my career, and then I have a relationship.
Well, he's considering DJ as a
The
career.
the career and the parenting.
You know, it was my career path before I became a comedian. In fact.
Moshe loves surfing.
You were always
he
telling
loves
jokes over
camping.
the-
That's right.
He loves DJing.
I recently loved DJing.
You have a lot of hobbies.
You should go to like Electric
I'm not a hobby
Forest. Isn't
person
that
either.
camping and
Artists
DJing?
don't need
That would be
hobbies,
fun.
honey.
Don't you feel that you want one though? Like I'm constantly kind of being like, oh, I'm gonna take a piano class or something.
Piano, swimming, and tennis. Those are my dreams.
Why don't we do it?
I don't know.
I've been trying to play tennis, but not enough people play it. And the problem with tennis is,
Shelby doesn't like playing tennis with me.
I
well,
wanna
Caleb
learn
is
more.
good at tennis, but I think he's bad. The problem is Caleb only knows how to splice the ball. So every time I play with Caleb,
I
I,
can only
have
play
to
like a shark.
sprint to the net.
I can only play like a
You
shark.
can't do like punting. That's
No,
fun.
No, I only know how to cut it. That's all I
And
know.
so we'll
who wants to
play.
play with
It's not fun to play with.
He's
I'm on
like,
her team.
Shelby doesn't like
Are you
playing with me.
good?
I'm like,
No.
but if we were to play doubles, I'd be like, definitely play against the net. Like I would love to play with you on my team because you can. The
I
way
just want
he
to
cuts
volley
it
for
down.
like a half hour.
I want
If I'm
that
playing
too. I'm
with
not
him, just the
capable
two
of it.
of us. It's like, I mean, what are we even doing?
I
I'm
only know
just
how to go for the
sprinting
kill, and I'm
around.
being dead ass serious. I do not have the ability to. Shelby's actually good.
Let's all get good, and then
Okay.
we'll knock some balls around
Okay.
when we
Moshe
get
quit
better.
DJing.
You lost me when you said splice because I was just thinking about cutting and splicing on records. I've been
Right,
kind
right,
of
right,
thinking
right,
about
right,
that
right.
this whole time. You know,
Just zoned in.
kind of where I'm at.
Just in
you know?
it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm the Van Halen of DJing. I would say I'm the Williams sisters of DJing.
Nobody
the
knows
Federer.
who that
Never heard
is.
of them.
The Federer.
The Williams, Serena and Venus. Wait, what?
Williams
I was thinking
sisters.
musicians.
I got to look. I got very scared that they didn't exist and that
We're all
I was like,
we don't
what?
know.
The Williams
Yeah,
sisters.
yeah.
You
The most-
said it weird. It was not clear.
My next question was gonna be, were they the ones who did Raining Men? It's Raining Men. I was like, is that them? Because that was a sister. Wasn't that sisters? It's Raining Men.
Hallelujah.
Pointer sisters,
I'm the
maybe?
Pointer
Was it the
sister.
Pointer
I'm the
Sisters?
Pointer Sisters of DJing.
Who's
That
saying it's
wasn't
Raining
the Pointer
Men?
sisters.
The Weather Girls, the Williams sisters.
Girls
we
are
can
often
all.
sisters.
Wait, that
Yeah,
was
there's
a
girls
one-hit wonder?
From
All
the
right.
same parents, they're often sisters.
Girls are often sisters.
Often, but not always.
It doesn't always happen like that.
Yeah.
Well, most
and I'm
girls are
really grateful that
sisters.
we live in a world where that's not it's not mandated anymore.
Right.
You know?
If you, as a girl, see another girl who is not your blood sister, she can many times become your sister through
And sometimes your blood
periods,
sister
right?
can,
Yeah,
through
Is that right? Through menstruation?
through
desocializing.
periods and sight syncing
Through
up. Yeah,
periods and
Syncing up, the
scissoring,
moon.
you
Yeah.
can become blood sisters with anyone.
you
I
become
think.
blood sisters when you sync up your periods.
Is that what this podcast is about?
We mostly talk about menstruation.
Okay, great. So good. So
Yeah.
good.
We
Yeah.
mostly talk about
As
menstruation.
much as we can.
By the way, can I do something real quick? Do you mind?
Yeah.
Menstruate. What do you?
You tuned into the Keeping Records podcast here on the Headgum Network.
Why did you
Why?
want to do
Are
that?
you trying
I
to
just
get
felt
in-
like I wanted to do it. It just felt like the right time.
What are you talking
Yeah.
about? I don't get it.
You've tuned into the Keeping Records podcast here on the Headgum Network.
Hi everyone, and thanks for tuning into the Keeping Records podcast.
Oh, you think
here
you
on-
have a good voice? Is that what it is?
No, wait. Caleb has a nice voice, but I don't.
I just don't. Oh, you want to show? Okay, yeah.
For those of you who are just joining us,
There you go.
this is the Keeping Records podcast
Ooh, I
on the
like
Headgum
that.
Network.
I mean, obviously.
Ooh, that felt
Natasha
good.
will
Thank
need
you.
to do
Thank
one.
you. I thought so too.
For those of you who just turned in, you're listening to the Keeping Records.
Turned in?
I don't know.
Oh, this is only for people that just went to bed. If you-
tuned in.
This is an
This is the
ASMR
Tuned in. I'm
podcast.
sorry.
The
For those of
bedtime
you,
pod.
for those of you that are
for
just
those of you
turning
that are
in.
just tuning in or turning in, this is the Keeping Records podcast.
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys a little question. Do you guys ever come to despise or do you love? I'm not trying to lead you into one particular way. I'm genuinely curious. Being asked to do things together, like being asked to be on shows together or podcasts together.
I
Shouldn't
love it.
offend you,
You
but
love
it
it.
does offend me because this is about me.
No, it's not.
I'll tell you what
I
don't.
100%
I can tell you what it's about.
prefer it, love it. I mean, yeah, I like to do stuff by myself too.
Yeah.
I like to do acting without motion next to me,
Yeah.
but everything else.
I'll tell you what I don't.
Because then we get to travel together.
Okay.
Right.
I am with Natasha. I like doing stuff with her. I'll tell you what I don't like is when people ask me to do stand-up shows and then they ask me if Natasha's available.
That's annoying.
I
or
often-
what's
I often
Moshe's
do this-
schedule or,
I often do this performative text back where I go, "Oh yeah, I'm not really sure. You might want to hit her up."
Yeah.
But it's like she's literally sitting next to me.
Right.
It's like I could very easily just
Like
go.
we have
Right, but
enough
you're not her
going
booking
on.
agent.
Like we're
No.
trying to figure out what, spices are expired in our kitchen to like create less mess. And I feel like I'm going psycho like all the time with cleaning. Like I can't also deal with that.
Yeah, you guys are not each other's assistants.
Yeah, like I have so many things I need from Moshe.
Yeah.
yeah.
That I
orgasm.
can't go into other people's like I've got like 10 things I'm waiting to ask him. You know
At
what I
any
mean?
given time,
At
yeah.
any
But
given time.
he's on the board, so you got to
Right.
wait for him to get off the mixing
Exactly.
board.
So
Well,
I can't add to it.
All she would have to do is upload a track on Serato with all of those questions. I'll download it. I'll throw it on the ones and twos, and I'll be able
Natasha
to
gets
answer.
really, really into DJing only to get to-do lists out to you.
We're on like text threads with friends, and sometimes I'm like asking him a question, and he's not responding to me, but he's responding to the text
I'm
thread
like
I'm on
sending
with him.
memes to the text thread, and she's like, "What the
But
fuck?"
I'm like trying to get like scheduling, So anyway, yes, that is one of the problems. And actually, for me, that is one of the issues. Even when people don't ask, just having to figure out our schedule together is very hard. Because when you're a person by yourself, you're like you're traveling so light.
Oh, my life
through
is
the
my life
world.
is easy.
Well,
Is it?
My life is a. I mean, I don't have anything.
you don't
I have
have
nothing.
to talk to anyone.
I don't have
like,
a partner. I don't have a kid. I don't really have a job most of the time. I kind of go.
well, your
wherever.
job is,
Well, I mean, like this kind, but it's like,
Well,
yeah,
you know what your job is. The Keeping Records podcast here on Headgum.
But like, I have to think about childcare. I have to think about Moshe's schedule. He doesn't keep an iCalendar, except maybe he has, because I've tried to shame him publicly so many times for that. But like, all of it, like, I feel like ever since I met you, we'll just be hanging out, and he's like, "Fuck, I'm supposed to be boarding a plane, or I'm supposed to be doing a podcast right now, or I'm supposed, like I can't do that next week." So it's like that is just kind of who he is, and then I'm kind of absorbing that, and then my own schedule, and then having a kid. So there's like a lot of, and then also as the
And
mom
she's
being in
booked.
charge of who's in charge
She's
of the
pretty
kid.
booked up. She keeps I would say my daughter keeps a fucking tight iCal.
She's booked, honey.
Yeah, you know how like young people are like really good at the interface of TikTok now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The way she is
and
with
older
iCal.
people are a little confused by it. She's like that, but with iCal. Like she
Yeah.
just gets
She's
it.
scheduling her own play dates.
Yeah, she really gets the
putting in
interface.
Extremely native
She's
user.
responding maybe to
Yeah.
a lot of events.
She is a native.
I will
user.
say if you started sending
he said.
if you started sending Moshe voice notes of the questions you have about your guys' life, like, hey, I need you to so and so at 4 o'clock, or what's this, and then you started using them in DJing to mix beats, I would actually be genuinely
That's
Wait, now see, but that
Intrigued as
would be
fuck by
good.
that. I would
but
love that.
Whatever genre he's focused in and zeroed in on for playing the DJ tracks, I don't like. And so it's
who
always
are your
on.
influences?
Who are my influences
Van Halen.
as a
I
DJ?
wish it was. I could deal with
Venus
Van
and Serena
Halen.
Williams.
If you want me to be sincere,
They
do you
would
guys
be
want,
good.
Do you want sincerity or do
I'm
you want?
asking
We've
what
got
kind.
nothing
I'm
but
trying
time
to
and
figure
interest.
out what kind of music you're making.
Here's the deal. It's like I was a rave promoter and a DJ when I was a teenager in the 90s.
in Oakland.
In Oakland.
Yeah.
That was a big part of my life. I left it behind through a very complicated and emotionally interesting series of events. One of the funnier, the end thing I started going to raves when I was like 16, and I started throwing them when I was like 17, and I became
Sober too, so
I
it
was,
maybe
I was
like
That
sober
shouldn't
at the
have been
time.
happening, but go on.
And right, sure, I'll agree. And I became a rave promoter, and it was a big part of my life. And I thought maybe I would become a professional DJ, like for the rest of my life, kind of thing, because I had a little bit of a name as a DJ in the Bay Area at that time. And
the
then,
best story is that his DJ name was.
hold on, this is what I'm getting to.
I always want to just cut.
You're cutting to the point. You're
So-
giving close notes. You're giving long.
So that was a big part of my life. I really wanted to do it, and then slowly, like the scene changed over, and a bunch of really strange
You aged
things
out.
happened that I started to lose track. I did sort of age out. Honestly, when I started going to raves when I was 16, I was the youngest person by far in the scene, and everybody else was was like 25. That was the median age. By the time I stopped going to raves, the median age was like 16 and I was 25. And so the demographics had flipped and I was starting to feel uncomfortable. And there was a lot of
This
different
is
stuff
not the
happening.
age I thought people were at raves.
Yeah.
You
I
thought
didn't
they
know
were
that.
You
what?
thought younger or older?
Older.
Older. I thought they were 9.
16. Yeah. I thought raves were.
For 9-year-olds.
Well, this was the early.
Yeah.
This was the early
Pre-bat mitzvah,
2000s.
at
This was
least.
the early 2000s too. So things really sort of changed when music
9/11.
festival culture started to happen. When
Honey, all they asked is who your influence is.
well, I'm
No,
trying
but
to.
I
No,
am
I
interested
know,
in
I
the
know.
post
No, it's
9/11
good. He's very
rave scene in the Bay Area.
Well, I hadn't gotten there, Caleb. You're doing what Natasha always does. Then the Twin Towers were hit, and
Right.
everything changed.
Our two
People
Okay.
had to
Towers
start wearing
fell.
clear backpacks.
Yeah, suddenly the demographic, the median age was 47 at raves.
We were
And-
like, what are your influences? And Moshe's like, well, when our 2 beautiful towers fell on that day, the impact on the Bay Area rave scene cannot be.
So there were
And
these
for me,
two
it
fellas
influenced my
that started
music.
taking flying lessons in and around the Oakland rave.
Do you want to know something crazy? You guys might have seen this. I don't know. I might have mentioned it here before. Listeners, if this is not new to you, this is who I am.
Keep your mouth shut.
Don't be in the comments about it. I watched a documentary about the 9/11 guys once. The crew. And
The guys?
Not the boys who did
fellas.
9/11, the fellas.
Yeah, the fellas.
And they were all boys. And so they interviewed one of the flight instructors, and they were like, they were talking about all the mishaps of the war in the Middle East. But one of them, they're like, there were so many times that we should have caught the 9/11 fellas because they...
Did they always say like a colloquial, cute way
they'd
to
be like,
refer
oh,
to
these
them?
little guys.
The documentary is called Goodfellas.
Yeah. Oh, wow. I've seen it. Oh, my God. I've seen that.
Yeah.
And it's
called
about
the fellas
the guys who did.
and what they did. And one of the young men who took the flying lessons, he continuously told his flight instructor when the flight instructor was trying to teach him how to land the plane, he was like, I don't want to know how to land it. I just want to know how to fly it. And the flight instructor, they interviewed him, and he was like, I always thought that was weird.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, dog. That's pretty fucking weird.
You know, that reminds me in a very tangential way of this podcast I once heard about this kid who started having aversion to water and acting strangely and having these seizure situations, and they didn't know what was wrong with them, and the parents took the kid to the doctor, and the doctor was like, this seems like rabies. Is there any way that your child was exposed to rabies? And they were like, no, there's no way. And they're like, nothing, not bitten by a dog or bitten by a bat. And they go, oh, no, yeah, she was bitten by a bat. Yeah. Yeah, she was.
Bitten by a bat?
Bitten by a bat.
Oh, yeah, she had one of those.
She did.
Didn't know.
bats.
She was. Yeah, but just the idea that the doctor, anything weird happened at all? No, nothing. Everything pretty normal.
She's been
Bitten by a
pretty
bat at all?
good. There was the bat in her room. There
was the bat. There was the bat.
She had dance class Tuesday.
There was
tumbling Wednesday.
She did get bit by a
And then
bat.
Thursday there was the bat situation with the
All I
bat.
can think of is she was bitten by a Saint Bernard from a Stephen King novel that was foaming at the mouth. But I can't see a rabies. I don't
other
see.
than that,
It would not make sense for her to be. She's been collecting rabid animals in her room, but they like her.
shakes.
Yeah, I
At the
don't
mouth,
know.
but I don't
Do you
think-
say she has tetanus? I don't see how she could have gotten exposed. She does often stab herself with a rusty nail. That is kind of part of it. But I don't think there's no way.
You know, similar to your, and eventually we will talk about your guys' records, but similar to
Eventually, we'll find out his influences.
That's what I'm waiting for.
I haven't forgotten.
And I
you
want
think
it to
I
be
for 1
saved.
second forgot about the narrative I'm trying to weave here?
And I want it to be saved. I want this to be a perfect herald. But similar to you being a DJ in the Bay, Shelby, and we might have to cut this. I don't know if you want me to say this or not, but Shelby was a. Can I say that you were a drug dealer in Chile,
Argentina? Well,
In
both.
Argentina?
Shelby was a drug dealer in
That's
Argentina.
so cool. I was so afraid to do that.
Hold up.
She should have been.
Actually, yeah, there's good
She
reason
does
for me
not
to.
have the strength to run an operation like that.
What do you mean?
She probably
What
still
part?
thought.
Like, I'm
More than
saying,
Bob.
are you Chilean or Argentinian?
No, I studied abroad there, and I was
Which
buying.
one? What's up, dude? This has been fun, huh? Like abroad?
Yeah,
what's up?
yeah.
I guess I'll take off. Okay, so you were an American student abroad. Okay.
I was an
And you
American
could
student
speak
abroad.
fluently.
At the time, I'm not that as good anymore.
No, I noticed.
Yeah, when I said, what did I say in Spanish so far?
No, she just said speak fluently. I was doing another roast joke about how you're speaking.
I'm getting ruined on this podcast.
I'm also getting a bit ruined.
For those of you just tuning in, this is Keeping Records podcast on the Headgum Network.
Headgum.
But Shelby was a drug dealer.
That's so cool. I wish I was.
yeah.
You were selling what?
Well, I was really on a hunt to find in South America. I could get coke anywhere. I wanted good weed, and I couldn't find it anywhere. And I was going sort of every time we went out, I was going to like every DJ, honestly, being like, where can I get weed?
Where do I
That
find
is
good
really
weed?
smart.
Smart.
And
That's-
eventually I met this guy who was like, no, I have weed. And I was like, good weed? Because everyone had been selling the craziest weed I've ever seen. It was
Like, does it do
condensed into a
anything?
block. And you'd have to chip away at it. It was a
And did it work or did it
No,
make
it was
you
like
feel
dirt.
bad?
It was like, honestly, they had gone to the dirt, put it, mushed it together, and then was like, that's
is
weed,
weed.
baby.
They're talking to the white kids who studied abroad, obviously. I mean, that's what I would be doing.
Right.
So then I was like, is
Like
it good?
flour. I want some flour.
Well, I did have to end up sort of like saying that because everyone was giving me these squares. And I was like, all right, but. And he was like, yeah. And I started buying weed from him. And then he was like, I have a full menu. And I was like, okay. And then I was like, sure. Started buying other stuff from him. I lived with 15 people.
That's such a college story right here. Of course, I did live with 15.
Of course, at the time, I was living amongst 15 others. And
And I'm a little younger than you, so that might have been the year I was living with 30 people, but I can't be sure. I'm quite a bit younger than Shelby.
He's a year younger than me.
You can feel
But
it,
you can, yeah.
Well, generationally, there was a.
It plays out
Your
in
era
the-
was
I
more
was
of
a
a
little
15
bit older
roommates.
when the towers hit, so
Right.
I grew up sooner.
Yeah, you
But,
remember that.
You were living with 30 fellas, right? Our
I lived
boys.
with 30. I lived
30
with-
good,
I lived
30
with
good
actually 30 boys.
30 good little boys.
30 good boys, best boys.
The good fellas.
Nothing really going on.
But he was like, yeah, give me your friends' numbers, whatever. And then I went out of town, and one of my friends did this guy dirty, and he was like, I won't sell to any American but you. And then I ended up being like, okay, I guess I'm doing bulk orders from my guy and then distributing them out. And I didn't really think about it at the time. I was like, oh, I'm just sort of like, I'm just getting them for my buddies. But then it was like other people who were also American were like, anyone who I can get, and everyone was like, this girl can get it. And so then it ended up I was buying like massive amounts of drugs.
Do you guys remember in The Other Guys when Will Ferrell explains how he was a pimp in college? But he doesn't know what to call it. He's just like, oh, I had a stable of women who I helped. That's when first time Shelby told me this, I was like, you were a drug queen pimp. She's like, no, I was splitting it up and
Have you ever watched like Locked Up Abroad or Midnight Express?
Yeah,
or
like you
anything
just
that?
were
Like,
too young to care.
I didn't realize what I was doing until I was in it. Like at the time I was like, I'm just getting weed.
What are the go, I have
for
a
my
question.
friends.
What were the nuts and bolts of the job? Like, was it a lot of like in a car with another person, face to face, talking?
It was
to
a lot
them?
of me going to this guy's house. I won't say his name.
No, don't
good
say
idea.
that.
his name. Why not? Say his name.
I won't say his name, but I want you guys
I
to
would go
know.
to his address at 325.
I want you guys to know that this is not far off. It's like if his name was Murder George.
So you would spend time at his house.
Yeah, I'll go to his apartment and tell him what I need. I had to speak in code with him, and then
What was the code?
it was a
Well, hold on.
color-coded
Can
system.
Can we do it? Like, hey,
I don't
I'll
know
be
if you should
Murder
give the
George.
code
Can I
to
be?
it either,
I
right?
don't think I can give the codes
Oh,
away.
you can't give the code out? Oh,
It's
no.
like I called the nuclear codes to Argentina at this point. With
Right.
this.
You don't want
But I
the
was
Chilean mafia coming after you up here in LA.
I want to know how much I'm trying to gauge your danger.
So I would go to his house and then I would walk from his apartment to mine with like tons of drugs on me, and I would go with a bunch of cash,
Coke, weed, cash.
coke, weed.
I wouldn't be that
acid.
afraid of that though, as long as you have a nice coat.
Yeah.
What?
Well, I'm just saying, like that. To me, the more scary part is who am I interacting with as
Mostly
a woman. I don't
my
know.
guy Murder George, and that's what I'm calling him,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
again so close to what. he
What
was
kind of
called.
coat?
And you should be more scared of. Yeah, go ahead.
What kind of coat were you wearing at the time? Just out of curiosity.
What if I was like Gucci? No, it was really a bag that I bought at the art fair.
Oh,
You'd
that's-
have an unassuming situation, I bet. Like,
Who's gonna look? I'm like 4'8". I'm like, what am I
You're
gonna?
so small, yeah.
Who's gonna come for me?
I used to have a
the
friend.
Chilean authorities.
They think I'm the problem.
I don't
like
know.
a broken
I mean,
leg at the time, right?
Yeah, well, I did. I had a walking boot on.
I used
You're
to
good.
work for a German lady who said that she used to smuggle drugs in the 70s, and what she would do is wear a long fur coat, tie them all, like put them all inside the coat, and then run up to someone at security and like ask them like where she's like be very confused and have them escort her and help her, so that she was
Queen.
getting like this like special treatment to get through, so she could smuggle all the.
So they were like, we're not gonna look into her. She's on her
I
own
guess
journey.
like she had a whole thing, but.
that doesn't make sense because the second time you go to that airport and you once again are like a harried, frazzled
But
woman.
maybe she only, I don't know what she was doing. I'm just saying it's always.
You get
but-
something else going on.
But
Yeah.
walking through the streets with drugs, that doesn't scare me. Walking through an airport, fuck no.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what would ended up happening was I always had so much of it on me that I would go on trips and like realize that in my bag I had stuff in there, and I was just like, oh my god!
Right.
Like I would get to the place and be
God,
like,
is that my
fuck.
kilo of cocaine?
Fuck.
Oh, I hate
I thought I
that.
left that at home.
That's like me when I miss a Google calendar. A kilo, bro.
I mean, the period of time, because it really was, I didn't realize what had happened until I was like so in it that it was like, well, I don't even know how I escape this until abroad ends. Like I was like, I am this until I go.
That's
and
cute.
that's how you stopped dealing drugs? That's how you got out of the game?
Well, yeah, my guy is in Argentina. When I'm back in the States, what am I going to do?
You should write a screenplay about this because it's got a perfect Hollywood ending.
And what's funny
You know,
about
where you
it?
get on an airplane, you fly back to Los Angeles, and you're like, I'm not a drug dealer
And I drink
anymore.
like iced tea or something.
And then you know how it ends?
He gets caught.
No, it's just you, tight on you, microphone in front of you, and you say, you're tuned into the Keeping Records podcast. So you're on
Please,
Headgum.
No, but can
God.
I just say
Harold.
what I also love about it is that you were just in search of good weed, so now you're high, having to be like this queen pin, and you're just like confused, right? You forget that there's like coke in your purse.
I mean, it really was sort of like I also lived with all these people, and I wasn't set up to be. I had no plans to be the way I was. So I just keep the stuff under my bed when I slept, and I would have roommates like come and like not like wake me up and be like, "Hey, do you have anything I can?" I was
They would like wedge their hand into the mattress and.
Well,
grab
I woke
some?
up with one of them crawling on my floor, and I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!"
Shelby, that's no way to live.
Just to give you sort of a juxtaposition, while Shelby was doing that, I was in like a massive,
like young leaders.
I was in like a massive fight about an ordinance in student government on my campus.
What was your
About
big
who could
issue?
run for office when? Oh, I had multiple. I was always picking a fight with somebody. There was a
Caleb was ready to be a politician.
the girl. I thought I was going to be a lawyer and a politician. The girl who ran the Young Republicans on campus and I had a famous campus-wide feud to the extent that we had to have like multiple sit-down meetings with like leadership at the college staff because they were like, "You guys need to clean it up."
What was the fight about? What was the conflict?
Well, she was a huge bitch. Lindsay, if you're listening, I still don't care for you. She was a huge bitch. Although I just shouldn't. Okay.
Now you stop?
Well, I was like,
She's a fucking bitch to this day. You know, actually,
Well, I was about to
more
say-
than that, I can't reveal though.
Well, I'll tell you guys when we're not recording, when we're outside of this room. But she was a huge bitch. I'm sure that you still are, Lindsay. And I didn't like her. And also she was like, she was like one of those like smarmy young Republicans that was like always wore like a pencil skirt and a little chevron top and was like just at everything
Chevron
being Republican.
really was such a time.
Oh God, I couldn't stand her. But yeah, so we were always kind of at each other's throats.
You know who I think is a huge bitch to this day? And I'm not afraid to say it on camera and on this podcast?
Me?
Murder George. Murder out there. Come get some, doggy.
And I actually completely disagree. I think Murder George is incredible
I'll tell
young
you guys
man.
his name, and you'd be like, "Murder George was a really good."
Let's go to ad break so that we can do that. Ad break. Ciao.
Ciao, Bella.
If you put
After the
100
head
people in
closed.
front of me on the street and said mug one of them, I would pick you every time. You are absolutely who I
Muggable?
would-
Muggable.
I would
Yeah.
just push you down and take your shit.
Huggable and muggable, baby.
That's what they say.
Huggable,
Sometimes-
muggable, fuggable.
Sometimes because I'm like so short and I'm just so like small, I will sometimes have to find like if I'm walking the streets at night, I try to like
Make size.
make my
Yeah.
I talk loud or I I just try to be like stick my chest
I'm a problem
out.
for you.
It's weird, but I like
Yeah.
Natasha's so funny. Anytime somebody slightly sketchy on the street is
Oh.
walking towards us, she just starts going like, "Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should turn right at the next intersection. I'm not really." You can
I
tell.
just try to like talk loud and with an accent or like just try to sound very like I know what I'm doing. or,
Yeah,
like,
really intentional.
British.
Every turn you take has purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to ever feel like helpless.
What I like to sometimes do is like talk as if someone's really waiting for me. Like,
On the
ugh, they're
phone?
gonna think I'm late.
Mhm.
Or like
You pretend a phone call or
sometimes,
I'll
or
tell-
like if I'm with some yes, or I'll like say it to myself and I'd rather just be like, oh fuck, like they're gonna be so pissed. Because then people think someone's expecting me. And they're gonna
oh,
get a
that's
call
smart.
quick. Yeah, someone's
You're just
expecting
walking
me.
down the street like they're gonna be so pissed.
Oh, everyone waiting on me will be so mad that I'm late.
Oh, all the law enforcement that I often hang around with socially
I
is
go,
going to be
God
upset
damn
if I
it, I'm
don't
gonna be
show
late
up.
to the police.
How about we grab our phones and we're like, okay, I'm right there. I'm like literally here.
Yeah,
Something like that.
something like that. That can really.
Okay,
well,
there
now-
you are.
I'm here, officer, friend of mine. A cab. All
the
cops
police
are
there?
buddies.
Are here with me.
Yeah.
All cops are with
my
me
buddy.
and
Have
are
you done any of this?
What?
Any of the things they're describing? Is this?
No, actually, I
but
don't
for
know if it's
women, maybe
different.
it's
I
That's
don't
what
know.
I'm saying. Is
I don't know
people
if it's
be like-
different for a woman. I never think about it, but but I do know that being on your phone is not good if there's a mugger about.
Why?
They want people on their phone who are distracted and kind
Yeah.
of. But I hear what you're saying.
But if
What
we're
you're
not
saying.
Earbud.
Just go like this.
Well, there's also there's a big trend on TikTok that is so bizarre to me. It's like such a weird plea to go viral for like the right reasons, but where people will be like, the caption will be like, if you're ever around in a sketchy Uber, play this sound, and it'll be someone being like, "Hey, you almost here?" And I'll be quiet, and it'll be like, "All right, well, I'm really looking forward to hearing it." It'll be like a strong man.
I'll be waiting
And it'll
for you
like,
with my gun.
It'll be like me and the dog are outside, just sort of waiting for you.
I'm just here lifting hay bales.
And you put it on speakerphone. Is that the idea?
Yeah, the idea is that you like FaceTime it, so like they'll have like the ring at the top, and they'll be like, "Hey, how you? When are you
babe."
getting here?"
But that doesn't mean he can't like turn the wrong way.
I know it's like
and rape you.
it's like what? Also, like some of them will be so specific about how they're waiting for you. They'll be like, "I'm on the porch, just wait," and it's like, well, when they get there and you're not on the porch, they
I'm
just
sorry.
keep driving.
How funny would it be though if you were doing one of those and the guy you were scared of was just like, that's not gonna work. I'm on TikTok. It's like you're totally out of luck. Man.
Just so you know, I am an abductor, but I'm also big on TikTok, so I know this. So you're really fucked
I'm
right
still
now.
gonna do what I'm gonna do.
Well, the next time we have you over, we'll tell you about when Moshe got into a screaming fight with a Lyft driver. So
That's a pretty good story too.
But it is very
It's a long one.
hard as women. Like I never know, and like guys always ask me what I do.
Yeah.
Oh, in the Uber.
Yeah, like I think I would rather like not have a glass of wine and just drive myself now.
Yeah. Did you see Nicole Byers tweet about this yesterday?
No, what
or the day
happened?
before? She tweeted. I mean, did you see this? It was psychotic. Her
Been off Twitter. Things are bad on there right now.
honey, it's always bad on there. But her Uber
Right
driver,
now.
particularly her Uber driver, something about like asking what she did and insisting that she tell him, and then asking like I don't remember the particulars of it. Basically, he was asking really scary questions of her.
And then
Yeah.
what did she do?
What
She
you
was
do?
just
can be
tweeting,
very
being like, "Do you
sexual.
think I could stop driving?"
Oh, she was live tweeting.
She was like
it.
being funny about it, but like
Right.
literally multiple mutuals of ours were replying and be like, "Nicole,
Yeah.
are you okay?" it
Hey,
was
Nicole,
scary.
text you when you get home. How don't you?
Yeah, it was weird.
How don't you?
I made it
You know how
really
people say
hard.
that.
And they're all aspiring comedians and actors. That's
Always.
another problem. So you immediately have to
Are in a bad spot.
You know, and like people are like, "Oh, what did a guy ask me the other day?"
Just start
Oh.
saying you're in script development. That'll really get them.
Nah, get out of the entertainment industry. You got to go
I'm
more.
kidding. That would
landscaping.
suck. They're gonna be like, I have 5 pilots
Sure,
for
sure.
you.
You got What is the perfect answer? What shuts it down?
Script development's the worst job you can get. They'll be like, then, honey, have I got
You
some
could,
stuff
you
to
could
tell
help
you?
me. God,
I've
yeah.
had some great conversations with Lyft drivers, though I have to say.
Yeah, if you're a Lyft driver and you're listening to this, we really actually really respect
no, like
you.
I mean, well, Moshe would always, when we'd take them together, he would always start conversations, and then he'd get on his phone, and then I'd have to like pick up the pieces. And he would start. He was always
go, "No
way
way."
too friendly because he feels bad that someone's driving us, so he's like overcompensating and trying to engage, you know, and then he would zone out.
I was
so.
once on my way to our wedding or a wedding rehearsal or something. I was getting the suit, I remember, and the Uber driver was like, "You're getting married, huh? Beautiful. I'm married." And he's like, "Do you want my takeaway from marriage?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like scared to get married. He's like, "Something I learned from a lot of hard-won experience, and it's the best advice I have." And I was like, "Wow, yeah, please lay it on me." He's like, "Okay, never go to bed angry." Like, that's your best
like
advice.
the universal.
This the
like,
most basic. Like it's literally in a greeting card. Like
Yeah.
that's all you got.
You were like, fuck. Okay, fuck. Writing it down.
Yeah, it would be super helpful if it was actually something very specific, like every Tuesday before 3 p.m. make sure the dishes are done. It's like if there was some kind of like, you know,
Whoa.
There is no code.
That's powerful.
I just thought of something
About the
really
Tuesday
scary.
thing.
What is it?
You know how like in the 70s everybody just like
Was getting
hitchhiked
kidnapped and
they
murdered? Yeah.
well they were hitchhiking like that was the norm.
Yeah.
And then like what if like now it's like, you know, something's about to happen where it's like, "Oh yeah, we used to just like get into strangers' streets and then they would see where we lived."
Oh, you mean Ubers?
Yes, like why is this okay? Like
It's
like I
not.
had a guy say the N-word to me and then I'm like, "Okay, I want to like I told him to like pull
super
over."
misguided.
And then but then it's like
Wait, he
you
said the N-word to you.
Why did he say that?
no, I
to
mean
you?
he
I
was
never
like,
heard
"Don't
this.
come around here, don't go in this area
Oh,
anymore."
ew.
And then I was like, "Okay, you know, I need to get out." And then I was like, "Do I give him 1 star because he knows where I live?" You know what I mean? And then it's
Yeah.
like it's yes, but I'm just saying it's like
She's so scared of strangers. She 5-starred him, and she tipped him.
no,
like
but I'm just
50%.
saying that
Is
makes
that
me not
crazy?
want to be on the app. You know, like I
Yeah.
don't want people getting in. You know, it's just like scary. You're in some random person's car, especially now. It feels like we're so divided. Like how are things not going to start getting activated?
I'm able to.
Anyway,
I
I'm
nip
sorry,
that in
that's
the
too
bud.
dark.
No, I nip that in the bud by when I call a Lyft, I open the door and I go, "Who did you vote for in the 2016
Yes,
election?"
yes,
And if
I
the
do the
answer's
same.
wrong, I'm like, "You better keep moving,
You gotta
brother."
go, pal.
But if the answer's Trump, I jump on in and we just find out
Exactly.
how much
Exactly.
more we
That's
have
where
in
I thought-
common.
that's where I thought you were headed.
And see what's next. What are we doing next?
Where are we going? What?
I did 1 star
What are
the
we
Lyft
getting
driver.
into?
I would
Let's go
like
storm
to
a
say.
restaurant.
Wait, you guys, we really have to.
I know. I'm
legitimately
sorry
ask you
because
about
my
your
kid's
record.
out there and we don't have that
You
much
brought
time.
your child for some reason.
Well, our nanny couldn't make it.
We heard.
We know.
Well,
We
she's
like
our
that the
first
kid's here.
record. We would like her to go in the capsule.
The kid.
Yeah. She's just
The first
and
human.
I know a lot of parents say this, but our kid is special.
Smart. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, honey,
and
let's let them
gifted.
do
Right.
their amazing podcast so that we're not like
No, this
talking
is
the entire
podcast, But
time.
we should. I will say we when we talk too much, people will be like, "What about the
What's the
records?
record?
Okay.
I
Where's the
guess in the
records?"
end, what I would say is my influences as a DJ are
No, you have to save it until the literal end.
All right, let's do this.
What we brought you here to ask you guys what would you put if we were making new golden records? What would you put on them? You know this.
Yeah, we know.
What is your first thing?
It's just fat beats. No, what did
I thought you were to say fat people. I was like, all right. I was like, I'll
We'll get back
take
to
it,
your
but
influences.
you're on thin ice,
No, I
counselor.
would never.
Counselor.
That Lyft driver of hers though, he would say something like that. What did we say first? We're gonna.
we want to show the aliens.
Yes.
Yeah.
We really want to show them about hot springs.
Oh, a hot spring. A hot spring.
That's a
Because
good
they're
one.
wonders of the world, and a lot
Yes.
of people don't know about them, and they're so healing, and I love them.
And I don't think a lot of people know that they're actually natural. Like, I think some people are like, hot springs, there's a jacuzzi somewhere.
It's a bath.
No.
Here's what I would say to the aliens and to you. If you're ever on a road trip, making your road trip hot spring centric will make your trip so much fun.
It's like you go to the spa every day.
That's how we travel. When we're in my RV, which is another one of the records, so I don't want to put the RV
Spoiler.
before the
We'll get
horse.
there.
But when we're going on like a long trip, like we did a trip through Colorado, and it was one of the most beautiful trips ever. And
in his RV.
in the RV, and we would just map out hot spring to hot spring to hot spring the whole time. Every day you get out, you're in this beautiful setting, you're soaking. There's naked 65-year-old hippies everywhere.
God.
I mean, it's ideal.
Well, also, I could be wrong. I've only gone to so many, But aren't they usually in pretty beautiful spots anyway? So, like, your drive is prettier because you're like, I'm
Yeah.
going to, like, we're seeking out these, like, little pockets.
Do you guys ever hook up with any of the older couples there?
I definitely try, and Natasha
Oh
does
my
not,
God.
is not
So
into
we
it.
went to this hot spring that's in Santa Barbara, and
It's a cool one. It's a primitive, semi-primitive hot
Montecito,
spring.
maybe?
I think the
It's-
guy I've been talking to went there literally yesterday. Sent me
it's-
pictures. Beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Gorgeous.
It's an hour and a half
it's a
hike.
pretty. It's like an
What kind of
intense
pictures?
hike,
We should talk about him later. I'll tell you.
but it has all these beautiful pools. But last time we were there, we could not have been with more gorgeous women, and they all have their tits hanging out, and we're all talking together, and they all are talking to Moshe about. He's talking about Burning Man.
And are
and
you guys
DJing.
naked as well?
Yes, I'm there.
You're okay.
I think I'm naked.
Were your
I think
tits out?
everyone's naked. Yes, but like these girls all had like perfect pendulous like. Like they were like gorgeous. Like one of them was dating Diplo. Like these were like gorgeous,
Her and
naked
23, yeah.
women.
Her and
young women.
Lindsay from the Young Republicans.
Yeah.
And then when we left, tell me what you guys think of this. When we left, like another girl comes up to Moshe with her tits like running, but she had a one piece that was
Running.
just down. And she was like, "Hey, I heard you know the area. Where can I get tacos?" And like he's sitting there talking to her about
was,
all the different spots or where the surf spots
That's
are.
right. She was asking me about surf spots.
Surf spots
And
like
tacos.
and where she could get the tacos and like they were just like hitting it off. But like I was standing there and like they talked for like 15 minutes and she kept her top down and like mine was already up. But don't
She
you think
wanted to
that's a
fuck
li-
your man.
But don't well Moshe's like, "Oh, you sound like the guy from Footloose."
The dad from Footloose is what I often.
I was like,
okay.
I was like,
It is so funny.
hot spring.
It's so funny for Natasha to be like, no, someone was talking to you for 15 minutes with their tits out, and I would have like, and you're like, you don't want anyone dancing in this time.
exactly. It's like not the right response.
Honestly,
like I'm
the
not
difference-
that big of a prude, but I do think it's weird to be a woman with a perfect breasts and like
If
not
there were
think
worse
it's
tits,
She
would you
should
have
have
been
been
fine
uglier,
if they were
yeah.
down?
if
Yes.
what?
If,
she
her
were- had
if
bad
she had
tits.
bad tits and they were still out for 15 minutes, would you have minded? It's the perfection
honest,
of them all.
I think
Okay.
so.
No, if she was 75 years old with tits to the ground, you would have been like,
75 is
you'd
different.
been like, Moshe. talk
She
to
wouldn't
us
have been
about
asking
28
Moshe for the surf spots. though.
28 bad tits.
bad tits.
Yeah.
It still would have been.
I think
Awkward,
I think that's
weird.
fair. I just was checking.
to be honest,
And like she knew I was the wife, but like just like ha ha ha, and then laughing and like Moshe's just
And
like,
every time
"Yeah,
she
you can
laughs,
go to
those
the
bounce
car
around.
and then like go
Well,
down
she-
there and
it's all. I mean, she was
says,
cool,
"It's
and
all
she was
good."
okay. Was she suggestively eating a popsicle? Yeah, okay, but it was a hot day.
But
you
in
know
terms
what I
of
mean?
hot springs, there are some more bougie options. There's this place called Two Bunch Palms.
Well, hold on.
in
Before we
Palm
move
Desert.
on, I want to defend myself.
Okay.
I think what she's describing is, in fact, the difference between Rockford, Illinois, which is where she's from, and the Bay Area. I was raised in the Bay Area. I can be around naked people. I'm not sexualizing people.
You're a
when
little
they're
bit up a
naked.
creek because we're also Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying. Welcome to what it's like on the West Coast.
But we do want to be in California.
My,
you
mom,
guys.
you're
my
not.
mom raised my mom raised me taking to like weird hippie naked spots. So like when I'm
So did
in
mine,
a
honestly,
situation,
but it was Ohio.
when I'm in a situation where I'm around naked people, like in a hot spring, I do not sexualize those people because it's
You
not
didn't notice that all those women had
I
like the
noticed,
fattest
and I noticed
tits
they were
you've
attract-
ever seen.
Look, I noticed. I
He goes,
I
noticed. They
ejaculated
were
at the
hot.
beginning and I
was
moved
thinking
on.
about it. I
Yeah.
couldn't stop thinking about it. I thought about it for
You weren't thinking about
4
boinking these young women.
No, but
I couldn't get it out of my mind until we got to the next hot spring and saw new hot women.
Listen,
Although also I remember being at a hot spring and like there's men that linger. That's why I almost like
Yeah.
it's more fun to go to the places that are clothed. Personally, for me, I prefer that.
I want to tell you guys that I told Shelby this earlier before we were recording. I yesterday was sitting on, I was sitting outside of Fred 62, classic, and on the street across. You know, how there's that little walk-up coffee window across the street. A fully nude.
It's actually tacos, for the record.
Okay, well, he was getting coffee from.
oh, you know who wants to
Fully
know
nude
where there are
man.
great tacos? A friend of mine that I met at the hot spring recently.
I've been texting
I've been
like
having,
crazy.
yeah, I have been in touch.
He was fully nude.
He was fully nude on Vermont. That
He
busy
had a
ass
cape
street.
on.
He had a blanket draped over his shoulders that he occasionally dropped.
How was the penis?
His dick was huge.
Well,
And
that they
you know
always
I don't like.
do. Yeah.
Don't bring a big dick on me.
Oh, we know.
Leave it at home. You guys know me.
Do you want to know an observation about men's penises in hippie nudity situations? I have casually observed that the people that are most
big.
likely,
I'm tuned in.
to walk around fully naked in
Have big
Burning
ones.
Man, in hot spring, you're going to think it's big ones.
It's
yes,
little guys.
and yes, it is big ones.
Oh.
Or unbelievably small
Yeah.
ones.
No average dick guys.
Average dick guys have shorts on.
Yeah.
Big fat wang people, you get their motivation. They're just like, look, this is crazy, isn't it? We
Yeah.
should all take this in because it's fucking gigantic. But then like micro nubbins, like little button
Yeah.
mushroom motherfuckers
Ew,
are so
Moshe.
down. And I think it must
say
be
it
like a
like that.
reclaiming thing. It's like, you know what?
And they should. They're
Yeah.
right to.
Caleb knows this story, and I will make it brief. But when I went to a beach in San Diego, a nude beach.
Oh boy.
And I watched a guy quite literally fuck the sand for the whole day.
Really?
He would not
the
stop
fuck is
clenching
wrong
it,
with
legs
people?
face down, clenching his cheeks down. And then when he would pick up speed, he would get up, walk to the water,
Rinse off and then
cool
do it
off,
again?
cool off.
That's salt life, baby.
Dude.
Hold on. He didn't care that people were staring at him?
But he's from Oakland.
Yeah, it's different. It's
When you
different.
grow
how
up
you
in
do it
Oakland.
there.
It's different. It's
And then he
different.
would go back and do it again until at one point he got so fast,
Couldn't stop himself.
came,
He busted.
and then fell asleep.
Dude,
Ew.
Caleb's right though. When I first heard this story, I was like, "What a perv!" And then when I found out he's from Oakland, I'm like, "Oh, that's
He's
normative."
from Oakland.
Yeah.
Was
This
he
is open culture.
performing a little bit for you guys watching him?
I don't know how much he was. Here's the thing: he was definitely trying to be coy about it, but he moved closer. You know, like he was sitting
And you
elsewhere.
guys found out later that was Eric Garcetti, right?
It was Eric Garcetti.
In San Diego.
Eric Garcetti.
Do you think he was
vacationing.
doing it through
No, he was fucking
pants
the sand.
naked?
Yeah, well, he was
You would
nude
get
for the
sand
nude
in your
beach.
It's
penis
funny.
hole.
The body has ways to regulate.
That reminds me of a story. My friends were on Baker Beach in San Francisco, which is a nude. Every beach in San Francisco is obviously mandated nude because that's just what the Bay Area is like.
Almost.
No, but Baker Beach is the nude beach in San Francisco, and there was this guy on the beach, and my four girls that I knew were
Big as
walking.
beach, and there's buns everywhere.
Yeah, and and they were walking down the beach, and he was on his stomach with a butt plug in, and
King.
he turned around, looked at them, and immediately ejaculated.
He's right.
You think?
He's
I
right.
don't.
You guys are so
I think
Midwest.
he's wrong.
He's right.
I think he's wrong. I think he did something wrong that day.
Cumming
I
can't be
agree.
wrong. Okay, yeah.
Cumming
Hey,
can't
I'm gonna like listen to this
Pretty quickly
again.
thought of a couple instances
Where
where I guess
Cumming is
Cumming is
wrong.
wrong. Yeah, well, what else is on your guys' records?
Oh,
I like Hot,
Hot
Springs, and I
Springs.
think the aliens would like them.
Oh, and can I just plug Two Bunch Palms, which is in Desert Hot Springs? It's kind of expensive now. It didn't used to be that expensive, but it's worth it.
If you guys have money, you should go.
Well,
But if you don't have money,
you
that's
could go with a friend,
Save
and
up. Save up.
you know it's not that expensive. Like I'd say you pay $200 each, and then you get to be in like this beautiful space that has like people in their actually clothed. Like you're paying for people to be clothed around. You. Like to me, that's worth $200.
But I think actually hot springs are a egalitarian experience because you can do a bougie one and pay a bunch of money, or if you get a little bit off the beaten path, then you can do one for free. And if you go far enough off the beaten path, you're going to see 8 of the hottest, perfect, perkiest tits you've ever seen.
they weren't
in your
perky;
life.
they were pendulous. honey.
Pendulous,
Pendulous.
hanging,
Pendulous.
swinging.
Steve Harvey tells people if you're struggling to find motivation and you're broke, you need to find a way into first class on a plane. Ask them if you can be bumped up or save up money and take a first class
That was me
flight.
my whole life.
You need to be. So that's what I think with the hot springs. If you can't afford to live like Natasha and Moshe do, you need to save up and experience.
Or
it.
you need to hike around
Yeah, and then pop
to
in from the
sneak
back.
in
Yeah.
where there's no one.
Kinda like the
you have to
Hollywood
find
Bowl.
you have to get on Google Maps,
Yeah.
zoom in.
If you have a phone, and if you don't, you save up for that first. And
But
then
for me, aliens,
You can
if
do
you're
a computer
listening,
at
for
the
me,
library.
I appreciate
For free.
the primitive hot springs more than the bougie ones.
Yeah, no,
I
it's
think
fun to take, especially one that you can RV to. But then there's still the ones that we like, though. You can wear clothes, and you do have to pay for them. That's the
You
problem.
can-
The free
you-
ones, people are naked.
there is no hot spring in America or the world where you cannot wear clothes.
I
You're
know,
allowed to
but-
wear clothes at any hot spring
No,
in the
I know. But I
So-
just don't always want to look at everybody naked.
And I
Yeah.
do. And
There's
that's
somewhere
really the difference.
but
That's
when the
that
social
Rockford,
norm
Oakland.
is nudity, to be clothed makes you such a fucking dweeb. When other people are all dressed.
Oh yeah, Esalen.
Undressed, yeah.
Esalen, you go there. That's in San Francisco. Have you been there? It's
Big Sur.
so beautiful, or in Big Sur. And they say it's clothing optional everywhere, but nobody has clothes on. So
Don't
if
be
you
the
wear a
dweeb who shows up in
swimsuit,
clothes.
everyone's staring.
Everyone's
at you.
like, "What's up with this fucking narc?"
yeah.
there's an FBI agent at the spring.
Okay, be fucking cool.
Now
Apparently,
that's the most beautiful one ever.
That one, I know we want to move on, but that one, Esselen's cool. If you're ever in Big Sur, they do 1 a.m. soakings that you can reserve
I think
online.
it's like
and
$15 or something.
and it hangs over
God,
the
I'm so
ocean,
sorry.
and you hear the crash of the Pacific Ocean on the rocks below as you soak in a sulfurated bath. It's one of the peak experiences.
if you're
on
just
Earth.
tuning in, you're on Getting Hot with Caleb and Shelby.
Soaking it up.
I hope that you guys can do that spring again sometime. I know that at 1 a.m. is difficult for you guys, but I hope that you guys can get out
Oh,
there. and-
stop it. We'll meet you at Zebulon at 12:30, okay, honey?
I'm
For me,
scarred.
I'm a
scarred for
I'm
being
a
told
techno.
no.
I'm a techno guy. I stay up all night. I rave all night. I fucking snort MDMA.
We'll
and
drink a lot.
Yeah, but you're
okay?
just doing that in your
ketamine.
attic.
That's right. I snort ketamine.
I
put
wanna
my
go
kid down.
dancing.
I put my kid down. I snort 5 rails of ketamine. I go into the fattest fucking K-hole you can imagine, and I just slam
You should call
techno
the-
beats for the rest of the
Whatever
night.
room you do this, you should call it Club Cash.
That's a great
Cash.
idea.
It used to be his cute little office. Now he's got DJ equipment.
Now it's my cute little club.
Why didn't you guys are married, right?
It's
Yeah.
this
Why
Why
cute
didn't you
little
take
club.
Leggero?
Why didn't I take Leggero?
Yeah, it's a very beautiful name.
Are you kidding me right now? Why didn't I take Leggero? What? Because I'm not a fucking cuck, dude. A mashup.
Yeah.
That makes some sense to me.
Oh wait, I have never
They
seen
go,
that.
oh,
Or
Richards and
Hearsay.
Jacobson. Yeah, or they'll
Or
mix it up.
Richardson or
Richardson,
Jacob.
Jacob.
And they make up
Steve,
in,
whatever.
but legally, isn't that a hassle?
Yes.
Well, I'm
They
sure.
both
100%.
change their names then,
They both changed their names.
and then
I-
the kid has a made-up name.
I think we can all
Well,
agree.
to them, it shows their name.
Yeah.
I think they
Right.
don't know it's made up.
Your kid has a made up name as well, by the way.
I think. Well, you mean
Kashera?
her first name that we decided was her name out of thin air?
Yeah.
I just think we can all agree that the tradition
go-
of women changing their name because of their gender is like
Cool.
yeah, cool. It's totally insane and makes no sense. But we just don't have a good system. There isn't a good system.
You take.
You guys should go very law with it and be ledger.
Ledger. Oh,
I think you
Like
should
Brother
just
Heath.
go with
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
sounds good. If you wanted to change your name, use marriage as an opportunity to change your name. If the person's is better and you like that,
I had a babysitter whose last name was Valiando, gorgeous.
ooh, nice.
Married a Barth, and now her last
And
name
went
is
Barth?
Barth.
Terrible.
Yikes.
Terrible.
Take Valiant. Your kids have to be Barth now. Wouldn't it
Barth.
be nicer if they were Valiant?
My husband will take my last name.
For real though?
My husband. No, I'm kidding. I do not care.
Wait,
Huron's good.
do gay couples
or it's Heron.
often?
they can get
how do
married
they
right
decide?
now.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm saying, are they? Is it?
They don't change their
now.
names.
Is it
That's
legal
like a
for
woman
there to be
thing.
gay couples?
Is it what?
Is it legal for there to be gay couples?
Depends on the state.
For
Okay.
now, yeah. For now, it's a national yes, and then it'll be by the state soon.
Right.
And
No,
then
but
each
I've
state
never
will
thought
decide.
about it. If a same-sex couple, how do they negotiate name? Do,
And how do they have sex?
yeah, who's
the boy and
who's
who's the
man?
girl?
Who's the girl here? No, I'm serious. Oh, sorry. Let's change the subject.
Ew. Let's talk
I-
about something else. Ew.
Okay,
I have a joke about that I got in trouble for recently.
About the name thing?
No, I have a joke where I say that straight people who ask who's the man and who's the woman in a gay relationship are absurd because you can always tell by looking. And so a gay person got very mad at me for that joke.
I could see it. But I think it's
And they're
funny.
like, I'm the boy, but I dress like the girl.
And also, by the way, the one that got mad at me was there with their partner. He was the girl. I'm looking at him and I'm going, you're mad because you're the girl.
Well, you know how
And that's
girls are.
misogyny.
You know how girls are all sensitive and stuff. Hey, come
Anyway.
on. Hey, moving on. So
What's
what else
next?
is in my record? A condom, a 40 ounce of
He's
malt
stealing your
liquor.
thing, dude. That's
You
your
know,
character.
That is my
Oh, is that your?
character.
I'm so sorry.
No, we'll do it together.
So there I am in Buenos Aires trying to sell some cocaine.
What else am I gonna put on my record? A hot broad with big tits and a voluptuous
A
ass.
gold-plated 9mm I got from my friend Murder George.
We had Muna in a 3-person band on this couch as an episode. So there were 5 of us in here total for the last 2 episodes because we did a 2-parter. And I had a close friend who listens to every episode and loves the chaos of the podcast text me and say,
Too much.
it was too much.
Too much.
In that moment, I was like, I'm going to get another text.
If you're out there,
dad's
I
fully-
hope that you're enjoying what I'm doing, sir or ma'am,
Sir or
whoever
madam
you
or
are.
whatever may be going on.
What else is in our record?
Yeah.
Camping?
Camping.
I feel like our records, I'm going to be honest with you, we had a really harried experience of sending our records in, and I feel like we defaulted to my interests. And
Well, I will say earlier, Natasha said, I love going out in Moshe's RV, and I was like, clocking that.
toxic dynamic,
holding on
toxic
to
dynamic.
that, and we'll just...
Well, you know, between becoming a mother and the pandemic and then trying to like have time for my career as much as I want to give to it, I feel like I don't have much time for like
For the RV.
for a
Interests.
lot of like extracurricular activities.
But the
If
thing
I'm gonna
is,
be in an RV, let it be on a set. Hooah!
let
I
it
would
be my
prefer
trailer,
that.
please.
My
right.
trailer.
She's right.
I will say that when Natasha
But I am like I have a tennis lesson tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm trying.
Huge.
ask him
Thank
how to
you.
do the Caleb slice.
It's the only thing I know how to do, and I can't teach you, but you know you should play with Sabrina Jalise.
Well, she's really good. I don't
She
want to
loves
play
to
with
play.
her. I want to
We
get
should
good
play and
enough
they
to
should
play with her.
Yeah.
I don't want to play with you. Yeah, you already told me how you played. I'll never catch the ball.
I
I'll never
don't want to
able
be this
volley.
way. I don't want to be
He
this
wants
way.
Okay.
to learn to be better.
We'll shame you.
Maybe I'll take a lesson instead.
Yes.
Well, I'm going to put into the records my RV.
Okay.
And
I enjoy it. It's very nice. It's a very nice holiday with a child.
one of the dynamics between Natasha and I, the Rockford and the Oakland, is that I brought a lot of desire for rugged adventure to the relationship, and
Yes.
Natasha brought a lot of desire for extreme luxury into the relationship.
Or just abstaining from ruggedness.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And neither
Yeah,
of us
okay.
were really organically comfortable with the other thing. She's not a natural born camper.
Oh yeah, Moshe, you don't like luxury hotels when we stay there?
That's the point that I'm getting to. That's the point that I'm getting to. If you had pitched to me
He
before,
says, I can't stand when people are nice to me and good to me, and I have soft towels. A soft towel?
When a room is beautiful, I get sick to myself.
well, actually, there is a level of luxury where I start to get sick. We went to a
Oh,
hotel.
for our honeymoon, there was like a butler.
There was a butler. I'll be your butler, and it's like, no, please.
No,
like,
get outta here.
I do this thing where I'm overcompensating, where I'm like, what's up, buddy? Like, hey, what are you up to tonight? Like, I'm just like, I'm so
Talking to the
uncomfortable
Lyft
with
driver.
the
He's
dynamic.
He's like, I think this new married couple wants me to third.
exactly.
No, for our honeymoon, like we had a honey fund, so we went to like a very fancy place, and that was very annoying for both of us. But I will say, a luxury hotel is just when you're on the road, it's nice.
Well, that was
if
my
you can
point.
like
If you had
eventually get to stay at not a Hilton Garden Inn, you would.
all I'm saying is, if you had pitched to me before we started dating, hey, would you like to spend a lot of your vacation money on the hotel? I would say, no, I want a Spartan bed, Wi-Fi, and I want to go out into the world and explore. And Natasha, if I had said to her before we started dating, hey, would you like to spend your nights in a truck in the woods? You would have said,
Hell no.
right. So we have come together like Jack Spratt and his wife.
There's a lot of murder that happens in the woods and stuff.
Sure, but there's also murder that happens at high-end hotels. I don't know if you saw the documentary White Lotus, but it's all about that.
I think it's beautiful that your addition to the Golden Records was your DJ mixing board and that yours was motherhood. I think that it's a really beautiful dynamic that you guys have curated.
Well, honestly, when I do a fat mix, it's like giving birth. There's no difference.
But I will say for us going in the RV, we've kind of found our middle ground because there's like BLM land, which Moshe is always attracted to, which is the Bureau of Land Management, which also happens to be where people practice shooting their guns. And as having a child, now I'm like, I want there to be facilities. I want there to be, he wants to go surf. I want to just not be in a car. Like
Right.
it's better for me to like be in a hotel that maybe has a kids center. I don't know.
Yeah.
I love a kids center at a
Some
hotel. There's
room
nothing
service
more luxurious.
Or I don't know, but like some access to something for help.
There's
like,
luxury to putting your kid somewhere.
I'm saying I don't want to be like off the grid.
You're saying you dislike.
Oh, but what I'm
it sounds like what you're saying is you dislike BLM.
I
and if
don't
there's
like
one
that.
pull quote that anybody isolated out of context
I was
could
gonna
pull from
say
this
they
podcast,
should work on their acronym.
No, but what Moshe and I have figured out, which is good for the aliens to know, is like the national parks are kind of our zone where we both meet up because they'll have like, a beautiful hotel. Maybe you could spend one night at the end of the trip, and they have like docents and they have like kids area, but you can also park your RV if you give yourself ample time because those things get booked up really fast.
I will say that the national parks of this country are
And we've started collecting stickers and putting them on the back of the
a
RV.
version of luxury. It's like spiritual luxury.
They're so beautiful.
And everyone, why are you laughing at us? You're literally wearing.
You need to go to a national
No,
park.
you're literally wearing a national park hat right now, laughing
like,
at our
it's
sincerity.
ironic.
I really felt that.
It's ironic. I fucking hate nature.
I really felt that, but I also really felt that you were setting up a joke. But then you really just were like, I earnestly love the national
We
park.
really love the
and I was like,
national
that's
parks.
beautiful. But it made me laugh.
But also, a lot of countries don't have that. Like, this is land that would have been given, like, let rich people buy it.
This is.
Even though they are problematic though because they did like make indigenous people not be able
We
to
did steal them, yeah.
Yes.
But we stole
Well,
them all.
I don't want to get into that. What I want to get into is my next record, which is an American flag, because this nation
This
is
beautiful country of ours.
beautiful country of ours that those boys almost stole.
Yeah.
Those boys that you lived with in college.
Those boys.
Our boys, the
tried
good
to take.
fellas, that they tried to take from us.
Do you guys believe in aliens? I'm curious.
Yeah. Sure,
Yeah?
Sure.
Really?
Natasha?
You believe in aliens,
Sure,
but you don't
he
believe
said.
in ghosts?
Yes, and we've had this debate before, and it is such an unbelievably non-logical dichotomy. Like aliens can exist, ghosts cannot exist.
Okay, do you
that's
believe in
the
horoscopes?
believing part.
No, it has nothing to do with belief. It has to do with logic. Like, is there life on planets? Yes, we are life on planet.
Okay.
Are there spirits that float around and haunt buildings? I guess maybe, but
There
we
you
don't know.
go.
We don't.
He's
we
like,
never,
I guess maybe.
No, the thing is, how you gonna believe in a ghost?
But you also don't believe in astrology.
No.
But doesn't that have to do with like the phases of the moon and the ocean and
Yes.
like nature?
It does.
You believe? All right.
I love it.
I didn't know that
I was
you
walking
believe-
into a minefield.
Do you believe in ghosts?
I do not believe in ghosts. On aliens, I'm like, probably not either. But I'm not sure.
No other life on any planet
We've
in an
got
infinite.
it's really.
Oh, you've already done
hard.
this.
I have yet to. be
we've
convinced.
had this
I would
conversation.
love
Not
for
on
someone
here,
to do the
but
work.
it is hard.
Well, I'm just saying.
I would
wait,
love for
hold
someone
on.
to do the work.
The universe is, as far as they know, infinite and ever expanding. And there are the sun is a star, and it provides life for this planet. There are billions of stars in the sky.
The problem with this is the further you go with him, the more you tell him, and then the more he shuts down, and then it gets to a point where you're like, is he a flat earther? Because he's like, yeah, as far as we know, there's other planets. And they're like, well, hold on.
I did
The
notice,
shape of the
Caleb,
earth is complicated. The shape of the earth is complicated.
I did notice that you were rolling your eyes when she mentioned Chile. Like, you don't even believe in the country of Chile that
Well,
exists?
he's like,
I've
that's
heard
in the
that it's there.
southern hemisphere. It's like, what are hemispheres? It's a flat earth.
I believe that other people have experienced that. I haven't been. The thing with the other life forms is, I would love for someone to do. I'm very open to being taught. I would love for someone to do the work and prove it.
Here's the bad news.
trying.
Here's the
Well,
bad
they
news.
haven't gotten there now, have they?
Here's the bad news about my belief system. It's not a belief system. Here's the bad news about what I think about aliens. I think there's almost definitely aliens, and I think that almost definitely they are too far away from us to ever come here, and they're too far away for us to ever visit them.
How do you know that?
Because the world there's a description. Actually, you have brief history of time here. There's a description in
Is he mansplaining your own podcast to you?
Never read that, by the way. The producers put that there.
there's a description of how far away everything is in what's the guy's name? The really famous travel writer, Bill Bryson. Bill Bryson.
Oh, Bill Bryson.
I almost said
That's
Carl
sarcastic.
Sagan.
Yeah.
I don't know Bill Bryson.
He's really famous.
Walk in the Woods. That is a good book.
But he did one about the history of science, and
I could not finish. That was very hard.
it's hard. I mean, it's pop, but it's still hard to read, I guess.
Right.
But anyway, he does a description in that of how far away everything is from everything. That is so depressing
Yeah.
and makes you feel like such a peon in the universe that you just go, oh, there's no way anyone will ever visit. Like, we haven't gotten to Mars yet. Mars is unbelievably
there,
close, and it's unbelievably far away, right? So to think about getting to another star, I don't think we'll ever
What
get
are
there.
people going to do in Mars? I don't get it.
Well,
Dude, I
think
know what
they
they're
wanna
gonna do.
colonize.
Hang out?
Well,
Hang out what, in your spaceship?
No, I can tell you what they're going to do.
What?
There's a guy that wants to get there, and he's just gonna like coyly fuck the dirt on Mars, and then run into the water, and then come back.
One
And
of
he's
our
gonna-
Well, if it had
leading
water,
He just
we'd
wants
be in
to
a better
come-
place about life.
he wants to come one time in the dirt in the red clay of Mars.
On every planet he can get to. It's just going to be Mars.
Right.
Have you guys ever? We've talked about this on the pod.
He's trying to
before.
fuck every sand on Earth, and he wants the bigger.
He wants to go to Venus.
That's the untouched sand.
You ever fucked a gaseous giant? That's hard.
Hey,
hard.
I have fucked a gaseous giant. and she's sitting right next to me. I'm so sorry.
I don't know which part is more offensive, gaseous or giant.
You look up. Finally make eye contact with your lover. You go, honey, you're just a little gaseous tonight. I don't think it's gonna happen.
We've talked about this on the pod before, but I don't know if you guys have ever seen it. The video. I'm gonna fucking cry thinking about it. It makes me so sick. It literally makes me so sick to my stomach. I'm gonna cry. Whew. They start with Earth, and it's massive, by the way. And then they go, and this is the sun, and this is
Now
and then
Earth looks tiny.
And then they keep showing you things, and by the way, Earth, which started out massive, where we live, by the way, now it's nothing more than a piece of dirt. And that makes me so sick to my stomach to think about.
Doesn't that make you think that then there could be life forms on the other planet?
I think I would love for someone to prove it.
It's not provable.
Well then, brother, it's not for me to know.
Okay, what about like when everyone started like seeing aliens? Like whenever there's like a place that like attracts all the aliens, what's up with that?
What do you? Oh, you mean like the people who claim they've been?
You mean like Roswell?
Like one place that's always
Spice
like
World.
I got a problem with alien
Happened
visits.
in Spice World.
I got a problem with alien visits. The same problem I have with ghosts, really. But it's like, alien visits are theoretically possible. But it's like, what are they doing?
Wouldn't they have picked one normal person also?
Sure. And
Just by chance, wouldn't they have picked
or someone
normal?
without a country
Well, I think
accent.
sometimes
After
they
100
are normal, and then they tell this story, and people are like, "Okay, they're fucking
no,
free."
but if this
That's
doesn't.
fair.
they're
That's really
always
fair,
like-
actually.
like some normal person who's like, I was sitting there, and then they're like, I don't know. Then it's like, okay, there's something off with that person.
Yeah.
Let's break down the mission of these aliens. For over 100 years, they've been coming to visit, abducting one person, doing experiments, dropping them back off, and that's how long is this anthropological experiment of the Martians? Like, at what point where they go, we've got the data we need, let's go visit a major city and say, hi, everybody, we're aliens.
Well, we're
Like, what-
changing a lot, Moshe, so they might be running some kind of like.
they're kind of interested in the disinformation.
If you went to an alien
meltdown.
town,
I'm just playing.
what are you doing instead?
Oh my God.
I'm going to the center of town and going like, hey, what's up? I'm from Earth. Like, what the
They'll
fuck is up,
kill
yo?
you,
No, they
quick.
won't, because I'll be like this.
They'll kill you quick.
Once the aliens come to they're like, we're going to get you. I'm fucking busting out a sound system, and I'm like, pick up.
You're starting a space rave.
Yeah, space rave. And then they're just like, the language of techno is the language
Natasha's
of the universal
so
reality.
upset.
Well, I don't know if you're remembering what I'm remembering, but I'm just not remembering. Your kid is sitting alone.
Oh no, I know. I have to go get her soon.
It's okay.
but
She has
the
a
thing
DJ
that-
app on her iPad.
The thing that was really depressing to me is I just realized that the aliens are the robots.
Wait.
What happened?
I just think it's like that's gonna be our
They're
version.
machines.
The machines.
Yeah.
We should be so much more worried about that.
People
Like
say
we're
this.
already giving them so much. Like that's gonna be the aliens.
I'm totally confused.
Robots taking over, Moshe.
Yeah?
That's
So
what's
there's,
gonna
like,
happen.
Mars-
It's
Oh my
gonna
God,
feel
this
like
is
aliens.
fucking brilliant. Actually, that's so brilliant,
We're
Natasha.
worried about aliens. We need to be worried about the things we're building, which is the robots.
No, but I'm saying something else. My whole problem with alien life forms visiting us or us visiting them is that it's impossible because of the distance and because of how long human life goes on for either of us to ever get there. We can't travel fast enough to get to a planet where life might be sustainable. But what you're saying is the technology is going to eventually become so sophisticated, they're going to absorb human life. They're going to destroy us all. We're all going to die in a Matrix-like situation. And the Earth residents that will be going to visit another planet will be robots who can live forever. They can go establish a visit on another planet. This is beautiful, utopic.
What I've decided is you get two people on a spacecraft. They have a baby on spacecraft.
Sure.
They say this is your mission. Oh, you need two couples. Sorry. Well, at some point they're going to be fucking cousins. I changed my mind entirely.
How about
I was going to say every couple, every generation they spawn so that they can get there with people. But at some point, cousins are.
what if I told you that already happened?
You can spawn with cousins.
What if I told you that already has
that
happened?
cousins fucked? Been to
No, that two people came and had a child, and it was the dawn of a new civilization, and it's a story called the
Adam and
Bible.
Eve.
What if I told you that there's a guy who had a son, but he loved all of us so much that he sent his only begotten son to die on the cross for our sins.
Lindsay, is that you in the Chevron?
You know what's so funny too about religion is that first of all that we're still like holding on to all these old ones, but that I remember it was always like, well, Jews believe that they think someone's coming, but it wasn't Jesus. So it was all like Jesus, our person came, and then these people are like, well, our person is gonna be like that, but that wasn't him.
Hold on, just could I stop you there? What you're describing makes a lot of sense. The thing the Jews believe, that makes like a lot of sense.
Well, I'm just saying.
Agreed,
it's
totally
like,
agree.
It makes
By
so
the
much
way.
sense.
It's
It's
just so
exactly.
agreed.
Yeah,
Like,
agreed.
but
I mean,
none of us think.
it
I
wasn't
mean,
him.
do people really think that someone's coming?
whatever Jews believe makes a lot of sense. Whatever other religions believe
Right.
is illogical.
Really
It doesn't make sense.
confusing.
Yeah, it's so
I'm not
confusing.
Jewish, and I do actually feel that way.
Okay, there we go. I like that.
This is something that I have always thought.
You converted to Judaism. You believe everything in it, right?
I like Judaism, but I can't say I believe the Savior is coming.
Natasha.
If you're a rabbi, specifically Natasha's,
Do you think
yeah,
that?
please do not rescind her membership.
How are your conversion courses?
I took 19 4-hour classes. Moshe
Whoa.
joined me for most of them.
Yeah.
And it was from Rabbi Neil Weinberg, who specializes in helping people convert as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
four
And
19-hour courses,
Yeah,
19
that's-
4-hour courses.
But you could but he has one every night, at least when we were doing it. So you could if you wanted to, you could completely convert in 3 weeks.
I told Caleb if he asked me 3 times, I'd convert him.
Yeah.
Well,
But
that's how you
Judaism was
convert.
I took 3
awesome. I
courses.
love
You
it.
just say Beetlejuice, 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 and you become Jewish.
Fuck, now he's gonna come on
Oh,
the podcast.
sorry. You guys would be so stoked if Beetlejuice came and was your next week's guest. Come on.
No, I don't want to get into it, but I went to college with him. And
Oh, no way. Beetlejuice?
it was a whole. Yeah,
They had
it was
a
whole-
really weird
We
breakup.
had a strange. We had like
He was
an on
fucking
again, off again
Beetlejuice.
thing.
He looked the same then as he does now, too.
When he came, did he yell Showtime?
He did, and he's also a bottom.
Wow.
Can you believe
Right.
Yeah.
When he told me that, I said,
bottom.
real top energy on that guy.
Who, honestly, between the two of you, who was the girl and who was the boy?
Caleb's the girl.
Me and Beetlejuice, I was the girl. Okay. He was a bottom, but the boy. It was a very strange. That's what I'm saying. It was a very
Well, we
strange.
call it in my community topping from the bottom. That's
Topping
what
from the bottom.
is that
Bottoming from the top.
Well,
bottoming from the top?
Beetlejuice is a
bottoming
power
your way to
bottom.
the top is what he
Topping
was
from
doing.
isn't
He's a
that a
power
thing?
bottom. He was a
Topping
couch.
from the
Bottoming
bottom.
your way
Wait,
to the top.
topping from the bottom. Power bottom? Is that a thing?
Power bottom. Is
Power
that
Bottoming your
bottom.
way to the top is actually a great description of what a lot of gay men in LA are trying to do.
Bottoming my way to the top is definitely how what your memoir should be called.
This was such a fun episode, you guys. We had
Wait a minute.
We just named the episode for you.
We just named the
Or no,
episode.
those should be your memoirs.
bottoming your
darling.
way to the top.
If you're just tuning in, this is Keeping Records podcast on the Headgum
Headgum.
Network.
If you're just tuning in, this was Keeping Records podcast.
Do you guys want to? You have your podcast, Endless Honeymoon.
We do.
What else do you want to tell them? You can tell them right into your camera if you want.
We have a daughter, and she needs your help. No, we do a podcast together that you've been on called the Endless Honeymoon Podcast.
We have a
Episode was a
secrets
massive hit, by the
It
way.
was
Indeed.
a huge hit. We have a secrets hotline. People call in and leave their deepest, darkest secrets.
And then they call in and ask for relationship or life advice, and we answer those questions, and it's a lot of fun.
As you can see, we have a lot of wisdom.
Oh,
And then
Natasha-
Moshe does music and has some
That's right.
influences.
But we're
I
trying
got
to
some-
not mention that.
Oh, that's... Listen, you want to hear the story?
What are your influences?
Okay, well, here was the story.
And then Natasha, I want to hear.
I'm going to bust through it as quickly as I can. Basically, long, complicated, emotional thing. I left raving behind. I stopped DJing altogether. I put away childish things. And the funny story I was getting to was towards the end, I used to be on all these rave flyers in the 90s, and my name, I had an established name, and it was DJ Moshe. And all of a sudden, as I'm starting to have this emotional crisis that's taking me out of the rave scene, I see on this rave flyer, there's a DJ E Moshe. E Moshe, just an E and my name. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, what do I do? So I gather all these flyers from years of DJing, and I go to the rave to confront this guy. And I'm like, I go, are you E
my
Moshe?
God.
And he's like, yeah, I'm E Moshe. I'm like, okay, I'm DJ Moshe. And he's like, cool. I go, no, I'm not cool. My name is I go, who are you? Like, look, here's me in this flyer. Here's me in this flyer. Here's me in this flyer. He's like, that's cool, man. I'm like, no. Like, what are you? Is your name Moshe? Are you Jewish? He goes, no. I just thought it sounded cool. I go, no. Like, I'm already an established person. You can't do this. And he's like, well, I go, look.
Are you 16 at the time?
I was probably 21, getting ready to leave. I go, look, I didn't. I go, I'll battle you for the name. I'll battle you. I will DJ battle you for the name. We'll throw down. I'll throw down. You throw down. We let the crowd
Wait,
decide.
I don't even know this story.
Yeah, and he goes, no, I'm just gonna keep the name. And I go,
King.
King, indeed. I go, what do? I impotently packed the flyers back up. I have no option. What am I gonna beat him up? I left. I stopped DJing, and I never saw him on a flyer again. I do not know for sure. If you want proof that there are aliens, that might be the proof
That
you're
guy
looking for.
changed his name, and you now know him as DJ Khaled.
So he might have just been a guardian angel. So I quit DJing, got into my actual career, which is comedy, and I met Natasha. I had a family, this whole thing. I wrote a memoir called Casher and the Rye. It's a great book. It's on Amazon. I just finished writing my second book. And my second book is a look through it's a second memoir, but it's through the different subcultures I've been a member of in my life. And one of the main chapters, in fact, the first one that I wrote, was my years in the rave scene. And as I was listening to this, as I was writing the book, I was listening to old mixtapes, and I was writing to that, and I got like nostalgic, and I started falling in love with the music again. And that's the reason I started DJing again, is because I had this like midlife crisis nostalgia thing. So in answer to your question, who are my influences?
It's yourself.
I don't really have any influences. I'm coming back into this thing, having not even really listened to the music for 20 years, and it's kind of fun because I'm just like, I kind of like this, and I kind of like that. I like the people I used to like, but really, I'm just like having a moment of postmenopausal discovery, and I'm just finding out who I am as a woman.
Hopefully it'll end soon. Can I plug my book?
I wish you would.
I forgot I have a book coming out.
Yeah, it's a great book.
Well, my book was supposed to come out in July, but then there was a paper shortage. And now that there's supply chain problems there's even like they've run
it
out
is
of
crazy
paper.
the shortages we've got going.
I mean,
I think
for a
they're
book,
just making it up
for a
at
book,
this
They're like
point.
formula. I'm like, what?
for a book company to call you and be like, sorry, we're not going to be able to publish you on time. We don't have paper.
don't got
That's our whole
pages.
thing.
I'm like,
the
all right,
pages
all
read.
right. Like,
Yeah, all right.
But my book is called The World Deserves My Children, and it's essays on mothering and my struggle and, freezing your eggs. And if you're interested in children or not,
Can I just say about your book? I read it. I read her book, every page of it.
oh my God.
It is.
That was so nice.
Well,
He's very supportive.
it is so fucking funny. Like for a parenting book, if you're checking out, if you're not a parent, and you're like, I don't know if that's. It's like the funniest parenting book ever. I mean,
This is
it's
why I like
hard,
to do things with Moshe.
hard jokes.
See,
hard
he can
funny.
hype.
Yeah.
He's like a hype man.
But it's true. I'm not even joking. I mean, laugh out loud, hard, funny the whole time. Very cynical, very dark, very, very cool. You got to read it. It's available
just
for pre-order
freeze your
right now.
eggs by the time you're 38. That's pretty
Totally.
much the
I've
most
always said
important
that.
thing.
Okay.
I've said that for years now. Well, thank you guys so much for being on. This is an incredible episode.
We would love to stay for a lot longer.
No, it won't work.
Honey, we've left the secretary in charge of our child, and
And I also want to say thank you guys sincerely. I hate to be earnest because I know people don't really like when I do it, but earnestly, thank you guys so much for your work at the Capitol on January 6th. You guys
we do know
were
someone.
instrumental. You guys were instrumental.
Well, we told
It
you we
would
like
not
national
have,
parks.
what I can say without giving away too much, it would not have happened without
Yeah.
you.
That is so sweet of you to say. There were a lot of people that really were super, super vital to what happened that day, and we do not.
Mostly
like
you
taking-
guys.
And none more than you.
That is sweet of you to say, and yeah, I guess yeah.
Did they win?
Yeah.
At the Capitol?
Did you?
Yeah. Well, I'm curious how.
Yeah,
They win at the Capitol?
Well,
Did
I'm
we
just
win?
saying,
They got
like,
Nancy Pelosi's stapler and
they
stuff.
kind
so.
of, but I mean, it's like
No, they're
they
all-
do look stupid.
They're going to prison one by one.
Oh, they are?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Well, it depends who you listen to.
Well, I haven't
Goodbye,
kept up on
listeners.
that.
We gotta go.
We love you guys.
That was a Headgum original.